how does faith and church communities support, and what do they need to know to be a part of the care team? I don't know
I
what,
think
but it's a good question.
I think faith-based institutions, I'm not going to assume everyone is Christian, but like mosques and whatever institutions people go to, I always say they're a wonderful, wonderful source of support because they see it more, right? People who go to faith-based institutions tend to be older anyway, and they'll see more of these cognitive changes in seniors as they come through. The congregation, you know, the head of the institution, the imam, the pastor, whoever, they see that as well. And for example, my stepmother, she goes to church every Sunday and she has, you know, the women's group there. That's a source of support. That's a source of community for her as well. You know, they have their ladies' luncheons and what have you. So that's another avenue for caregivers to actually get that bit of respite, that bit of, returning back to who they are as well. Faith-based institutions, they also offer programs for seniors, exercise programs, engagement programs, which is good for folks who, if they have dementia but are in the early stages, can also access to that as well to get that sort of community as well. We are working with some faith-based organizations as well to develop some programs and some supports for some of their community members. And faith, it does have a calming protective feature as well against stress and anxiety, and it also can help you make you feel less alone on the journey as well, from personal experience anyway.
Yeah, I would go ahead, Charmaine.
I agree. Having that kind of the faith-based community, and again, yes, there are people that are from different faith. It also, you don't feel as isolated because there will be a group of people who do know, and they'll be more caring, so that when you bring your spouse or the person that has dementia, they won't be judgmental, and they'll understand and be more caring and gentle with them. I'll give you a story. My father went to a conference with my stepmother, and he went to his bathroom, and while he got there, he got lost. And my stepmother was beyond herself, like feeling guilty. She couldn't even look because she was so stressed. But everybody had her sit down and calm down, and then everybody went looking to find him because they knew that he doesn't remember, and everything was fine, and they found him. And for the rest of the time that he was there, they took it upon themselves to always make sure that someone knew where he was at all times, so she could go around and do things and not have to worry about being the only one taking care of him. So having that kind of community, it really does take off some of the stress that the caregiver would have on just by themselves. So yes, I do think that, and it also helps with the depression as well, because you have people that you can talk to that know that you are going through. They may not know exactly what is going through, but they know that you are going through this, so that you have people to talk to, because you do need to talk to people when you're a caregiver and you're going through this, because you don't know how it's going to go or what's going to happen. It's play by ear in every moment, so that does help.
So there's this important question that I believe that some of the younger ones in this room may want to know. How do you stave off the onset of dementia?
So when we talk about dementia, we talk about dementia in terms of risk factors. And we talk about dementia with risk factors. There's modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. So the non-modifiable risk factors are age and family genetics, right? Now, even when I say family genetics, just because your parent may have had dementia or has dementia doesn't mean you automatically will get dementia. And that comes down to the modifiable risk factors. So these are risk factors that you can have control over in terms of, if you're going to get dementia or not, or be at a risk of getting dementia. And I mentioned them earlier, but there are things, lifestyle, right? So getting out and being active. So eating well, exercising, going for a walk, all those sorts of things, low drinking, no smoking, things, and some other things that people don't really maybe not aware of. Hearing is also a risk factor for getting dementia, hearing impairment. So if you think your hearing might be going, go get your ears checked, as well as vision impairment. They're thinking now might be a risk factor for getting dementia. Neighborhoods, right? So there was a study that came out a couple of years ago that if you live close to a highway, maybe about 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers within a highway, you could be at an increased risk of dementia. And that's from a lot of the pollution that comes in from the cars and the exhaust fumes and all the rest of it. I can't stress this enough. Pay attention to your stress levels. In our community, we operate on a level of stress. We're always stressed out. You talk to most people, how are you doing? Oh, I'm surviving. I'm getting by. I'm just, God, glory be to God, I'm still here. We do that, and we normalize being stressed out. We don't take vacations,
Mm.
take time for ourselves. We don't have a spa day. I'm like, girl, I'm getting a spa day. Y'all do what you need to do. I'm going to the spa for the day. Take time to de-stress your body. Put your body back into a state of proper regulation for your hormone levels, for your cardiovascular levels, for your physiological levels. De-stress. Taking up a hobby as well engages the brain in a different way. It helps to build up your cognitive reserves. Your cognitive reserves are kind of like a well for your brain to tap into as you get older. So building up your cognitive reserves as you get older, taking up a hobby, going back to school. I said again, social interaction. As we get older, we tend to get more isolated, just the nature of life, right? Our friends are married, have kids or grandkids or some, get out there and keep talking to people. As you get older, your brain needs that social stimulation, which is why seniors programs are so important, to be able to say, I'm going to be talking with people, moving up and down with people. Those are some ways to prevent dementia and keep on aging well and aging healthy as you get older.
Sleep.
Yes.
This is so important. I have to work on that. But getting a good amount of sleep each night. People tend to stay on their social media accounts, on the phone, on the laptop, blue lighting in your room. You need to put all those things in another room.
No TVs in the room. No TVs in the room.
It's
Room should
done
be for sleeping.
by what are those called? Like light, dark blackout curtains, but getting enough sleep. And you may not agree, but from what we've been learning, sugar decrease. You don't realize sugar is in your food and processed food and in your everyday food. Really try and eat as much natural things as possible as opposed to packaged processed foods. Those are two other things that I know of that when we were doing all this stuff we learned. When my dad got it, like we were reading and doing everything, and we started giving him so much more natural things, nuts, grains, like cut down drastically on your processed food. That's one of the things I can.
Oh, and can I just say for women, because Evelyn, you made a point about hormone levels for women on the call, people on the call who have women in their lives. As women hit perimenopause, your estrogen levels are going to change. And they're going to change all the way through menopause. And part of estrogen level changes is your cognitive abilities. You're going to experience something called brain fog. You're kind of like, why do I forget things? And I feel kind of off and I'm not quite sure who I am. Now that is a part of aging, the hormonal imbalances and changes. That tends to taper off after menopause cuts in. But sometimes what happens is the cognitive issues and decline might actually stay and turn into cognitive decline, cognitive impairment, leading on to dementia. It might, not always the case, but making sure you do test your estrogen levels all the way through. If you want to do hormone replacement therapy, talk to your doctors, because there's a particular time in the perimenopause cycle where it's really effective, and then a time after the perimenopause cycle, it might not be as effective. So talk to your doctors to figure out where you're at and if hormone replacement therapy is going to be right for you as it pertains to cognition, not just hormonal balance. Hormonal balances can be done with other drugs and other supplements, but specifically for dementia, talk to your doctor about that, your endocrinologist specifically.
Do you need an MRI result that presents dementia to get a diagnosis?
No, you can get an MRI result to confirm presence of dementia, but to get a diagnosis, usually you have to do a cognitive assessment and you take a series of assessment tests. So right now, there's a few assessment tests. There's the MOCA, there's the MICA. There's a few assessment tests that each doctor and each hospital operationalizes to be able to determine if someone has dementia. Now, not ironically, but within Indigenous communities, they've developed their own cognitive assessment test that is culturally specific to indigeneity and Indigenous experiences. Within the Black community, we do need one. There have been some conversations about people developing one in the States, but we do need one only because cognitive assessment tests for the Black community have not always been as accurate as they could be and as they should be for many, many reasons. So getting one that's culturally specific for the Black population is in the works and in the talks and development, but writ large, getting a diagnosis from your doctor is through a cognitive assessment. You don't need an MRI to get a diagnosis.
Thank you so much, and a huge shout out to all of our amazing speakers on this panel. Your insights and stories alone brought so much value to the discussions, and obviously it made a lot of difference. People were engaged, and like you said, for a lot of we young people, we just tend to think that it's just for the old, dementia is not a serious topic. But all the questions that we asked and all the points that you guys put together today, it was oh, this is I really need to have this information on hand. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your effort and the time that you put into being with us. You can definitely like follow us here on Instagram. We do have a link tree that we update every day with resources, promotions, or collaborations with community partners. So definitely reach out to us, or even or definitely reach out to us through email, or if you have any concerns or need to like talk about anything, definitely reach out to us. Feel free to reach out for another one. We're going to be having another event soon on October 24th, and this is our Sitting on Limbo event that focuses on employment, the challenges of employment within the Black community, as well as Black people with disabilities. So definitely scan the QR code to sign up for that. But aside that, thank you once again, everybody, for your contributions and making this event a success. I wish you guys a wonderful night tonight, and feel free to ask any questions or definitely email us. I know you probably want your midnight back, or like sorry, your the rest of your evening back. And it's like you don't hit your bed. So I'm gonna leave you guys for that. But thank you once again for joining us today. It was a pleasure having everyone and sharing the wonderful insights everyone has. I look forward to seeing you on October 24th, our Sitting on Limbo event, and feel free to share, of course. But
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.